What it do, YouTube? Was good? Soy Arms back with another YouTube video. Um, no trades today for a New York AM session, but there is definitely some potential trades we are going to go over and be frameworking and kind of just, talk about why this trade is good, etc., etc. Reason being I did not take a trade today is just because I didn't want to be greedy. I took a overnight session trade. As you can see, entered this trade around, yeah, pretty late, so almost midnight my time here in California. So we can go ahead and talk about this trade, and then we can go ahead and jump into our frameworking for today, for today's New York session. Um, so overall, higher time frame was when I took this first trade. Obviously, we're pretty much at all-time highs, and we had left this new week opening gap here. Now, ideally, new week opening gaps are a good source of draw of liquidity. They tend to get filled. Now my question is here, I also pretty much told the Discord, if I wonder if we're gonna get this fill overnight and then New York session kind of just continue that bullish all-time highs trend. For the most part, that is literally not what happened. So coming in, obviously, just from looking at the 15-minute or 5-minute here, we pretty much get a nice little sweep here, get an SMT. This kind of just helps sponsors that slow grind move to the downside. Now, what I wanted to see was, again, I could pull up in the Discord as well. Give me a sec. Yeah, so here it is. Kind of just wanted to see if we could get that gap filled during a session. Here you see I have this 15-minute gap marked out, and then I have this other 15-minute gap marked out on ES as well. So those two 15-minute gaps here. So this is what I was thinking, right? We kind of just retrace back into the gap and then potentially continue to go lower. That wasn't the case for NQ at least. For ES had already tapped into its gap. As you can see, tapped into its gap, its 15-minute gap. NQ kind of still lagging behind, but at this point in time, right, just overall drawing the markups, ES had already taken out this internal liquidity resting inside of this gap. Um, Looking at what NQ was doing at this point in time when ES was already inside of his gap, this was the framework I had drawn out, right? Internal buy side swept. We get that one last manipulation leg here, create an SMT. Now, this inverse for value gap to the upside, this is what I'm saying. This would have been a pattern trade if I had longed here. Like, this doesn't make sense. Obviously, I'm still looking for shorts. Why would I be longing? So again, just being patient, letting, just my market time kind of just play a big factor into this. I already knew what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a tap into the gap and then maybe potentially continue lower and see if we can, if this new week opening gap would be our draw. So I entered the trade off of this SMT inverse for value gap, as you can see. So I actually entered off of these inverse for value gaps. So pretty much this candle closure right here. And we get that 5-minute change in the state, which is kind of just the cherry on top here. As you can see, after this change in the state on the 5-minute, we kind of just bled to this sell side resting here. Now, I did not hold. Thank God I didn't hold. I kind of just wanted to get my piece of the pie. As you can see, this is already 52 points. Didn't want to, overextend. It kind of just, I wanted to go to bed. I didn't want to be holding for overnight session trades like that. So yeah, that was definitely one of the trades this is a good trade. This is a good trade. I think that, our goal, especially for me, is drawing the framework. I think this is a very important thing, and I definitely do think this is one of the most important things anyone could be doing if they want to get better at trading, as I have seen it better my vision on the market. And the reason being is because a lot of people say that when you're getting into trading and at one point in time it just gets boring and you're kind of just like, how does it get boring? It's because they already know what they're already looking for. They already know if price action is good enough to take a trade. They already know their point of interest. They want to see this happen, maybe in order to see this. Oh, we have AJ lows here. I kind of want to see AJ low get swept. Maybe we form a model to the upside to an unfilled hourly gap or 15-minute gap. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just market time that comes with it. But also, and I highly recommend everyone doing this, at the end of each trading session, go back and see if you missed a trade that you could have potentially entered, or like that somewhat revolves around your model, right? So the concept of this, or like the core ideology of this, is just to replicate your model in different variations of each market, right? Obviously, the market is not going to be giving you word for word, bar for bar models, right? You're going to be seeing different variations of your model in all kinds of time frames, right? You'll see your model appear on that 1 hour for the most part, and then you go to the 15-second, you'll see it. But it's all different variations, and I think that's what's most important for us to do as traders, is when the trading day is over, go back and see if you missed any trades and just do your markups, right? The more and more you mark up and see potential trades that you could have taken, the more it gets ingrained into your head. So now it's just like, oh, you've already kind of seen this variation now, right? This is you building that conviction. This is you building that confidence that you've seen this happen already. You like what you're looking at. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Right. But here is the sauce around this. Here is the sauce around this. Is that when you do your markups, right? I'm telling you, at the end of the day, go ahead and do your markups. When you are in your trading session, whatever session you're trading, and you're about to take a trade, your goal each trading session should be to not have any homework, right? You going back into the trading session once the day is over, and you're kind of just doing your, trading homework, and I'm telling you to do your markups, right? Go revisit price and see if you can find a trade that you potentially missed that you would have taken because it's your model, right? That's you doing your homework. But instead of having to go back, have your homework already done. Your goal each trading session should be to make your markup. Your goal each trading session is to not have any homework. You already did your homework, right? Obviously, I didn't trade New York AM session, so I'm gonna have homework to do today, which I'm gonna be doing with you guys. But for the most part, like, if I was doing my homework on overnight session, I wouldn't have to do it. Why? Because I already took a model that revolves around how I trade. I already did my markup. I already did my homework. So the same thing would be applied. Let's say I took a trade today in New York AM. Let's say I took a trade in New York AM. Or here, I have an example. Give me a sec. Okay. So again, he already did his markup. This is the trade he took. This is a good friend of mine. And I kind of just tell him, do the framework, each trading session, see if you missed any trades, any potential trades. And I told him, your goal during each trading session is to try to not have any homework. So what does that mean? That he already did his markup. He already took a trade that he thinks is valid enough, like revolving around his model, that's similar to his model. So he doesn't have to go at the end of the day, revisit price action and kind of look for a model that he missed, because he already did the markup. He already did his homework during his trading session. So that's what you should be doing. And I think that's definitely one of the things that has boosted my trading, is do your markup on your live session, and your goal is to not have any homework. I'm not going to have homework because I already took a solid enough trade that revolves around my model during my session. So I don't have to go back later and see if I missed anything. Or maybe there might be like one other trade that you could have taken if you want, again, a good extra practice. But for the most part, you already did your homework, right? At that point, you're doing extra credit if you go look for extra trades, right? That's extra credit. But since I already, like, my friend did this trade, this is the trade he took. You can see how it's marked up. It's the model that he's been practicing, that he's been refining. So now later, I told him there's one more trade to look out for. Um, I'm gonna tell him there's one more trade to look out for. Hopefully he spots it. But again, that's extra credit. But now he doesn't have to go back because he already did his homework. And I think this is something that can definitely boost everyone's trading capabilities in terms of market experience, or just, seeing their models refined in different variances, right? Because again, all your models, all your trades are gonna look somewhat different because the market is not always presented the same, but for the most part, it's the same ideology and core concept. And that's what really builds a trader, right? It's seeing your model in different variations. So again, one thing everyone should be doing is at the end of each trading session, go back, see if you missed any potential trades that you would have taken. And then in the next trading session, your goal is to not have any homework, because you already marked up your charts. You already took a solid trade to where it revolves around your model, your ideology, or whatever. So you don't have any homework. I mean, again, you could go in there and see if you can find extra trades, but that's extra credit, right? Something everyone should be doing. This is definitely something that has helped me tremendously, and it's definitely something that could definitely help others, especially in the learning phase, or if you just want to put in some little extra screen time. Definitely something you should be doing, and it works. Because if you just think about it, literally just sit down and think about it. Like, oh, OMS is telling me at the end of each trading session I should mark up some trades that I would have taken that revolve around my model. Okay, so now you're seeing different variations. Now you're getting more screen time. The more and more markups you do, the more it's engraved into your head, right? So the next trading session comes. Let's say you did that. You go to sleep. You wake up for New York AM. Boom. Your goal for that day is to not have any homework. Your goal for that day is to not go into the trading session once it's over to do your markups. Why? Because the trade that you took that day is the markup. That's what I'm saying. You get me? Yeah. So definitely something everyone should be doing. It's definitely something that has helped me tremendously. And again, that's just why people say sometimes trading gets boring, because they already know what to look for. They already know a model. And they just build conviction. They put the trade in, they let it play, set stop loss, TP, and then they go make breakfast or something, right? So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing my markups with you guys. Let's go ahead and see what we find. Um, Looks like we have all-time highs here. Overall, what I'm seeing coming into New York AM. Cool. So this is pretty much all-time highs. I'm pretty sure it's this here. Right. So external buy side, we have all-time highs at this key level. Let me go ahead and delete all of this here just to clean up the charts just a little bit. Let's go ahead and do our markups. So new week opening gap we have here, but it looks like on the higher time frame we pretty much just swept this, right? We pretty much just swept this, and it kind of just looks like we don't want to go any lower. Maybe later, sometime next week or this week, we could potentially come back lower. But again, our job is to observe, right? From what I'm seeing, maybe a lot of people today could have avoided long just because they wanted to see new week opening gap kind of get filled. ES looks like it was kind of close to new week opening gap getting filled. It looks like we placed an equal low here. So off the rip, I can tell the two indices are just very discombobulated. Like they're like NQ is going up and ES is going down. So let's go ahead and jump into the 15-minute. See if we can find any trade. On the hourly, we have a hourly for value gap resting here. Now, is this an SMT? Yes, This is also an SMT here. Okay, so hourly for value gap, SMT with ES. As you can see, ES managed to take out that low, NQ didn't. So off the rip, on the 5 minute, I already see a banger trade. And this is the exact same trade that I showed you guys that my friend sent of his framework. And this is fine, right? This is what I'm seeing. It makes sense. The trade makes sense. Ideology makes sense, right? On the higher time frame, we swept this, kind of confirming we kind of don't want to go lower. Because off of that, we get a reaction off of this. Looking at the 15 minute, we just inverse this 15 minute for value gap here. 15 minute for value gap here, we get that change in structure at this high, kind of retrace back into this 15 minute for value gap. So you can see it's kind of just also a 15-minute model here as well. Again, there's models within models, time is fractal. So as you can see, what I'm seeing here on the 15-minute, sweep of liquidity, market structure shift, 15-minute for value gap gets created. This for value gap right here gets inversed. What do? We come back, retap into it, we create SMT, and we continue to go higher. That's the 15-minute model. If you go down to the 5-minute, kind of the same thing, right? But for the most part, this is definitely, I think this is trade of the day, to be honest. Quick little trade off of market open. You get in this at 640, you would have been done. This is literally a like 20-minute work day, and you definitely could have held some runners. Again, all-time highs, so pricing that in that discovery phase. So really up to you. Again, you could have used from the manipulation leg down over here. You probably could have used, yeah, no. Oh, maybe it has to be on the much more higher time frame. Let's see what this is aligning with. Yeah. So higher time frame, standard deviation, -2, -2.5. As you can see, pretty much come to this -2, -2.5. And that's where we actually end up retracing back into. So I think this is a good trade, right? Doing my markups for today, I think this is a decent trade. Let's go and look and see how this 1 minute looks. SMT here. We also get that internal sweep. Yeah. We also get that internal sweep. Damn. This inverse, is there a 3-minute inverse? Yeah. So my buddy took it on the 3-minute inverse, which is, I think, perfectly fine. I think this is a banger trade, man. Pretty textbook continuation into all-time highs. Again, really confirming here is just, this sweep here that we have, and just kind of just ignoring this. Looks like ES wanted to just place an equal low and kind of just hang around for the rest of the time. So this is a banger trade. Me personally, let's go ahead and see what happens here. For people wanting to play shorts, definitely risky just because of what we're doing here, being all-time high. So I don't think I would play any shorts around this area just because of us being at all-time highs. Let me go ahead and see if you could. I don't know. Definitely risky, but I do potentially do see it playing out, and I guess it did, right? We have an unfilled 15-minute for value gap here. Looking at this, lines with the 30. I'm pretty sure we have like a huge SMT here as well with ES. Yeah, so we have like a really, really huge SMT. I'm telling you, like, both of the indices today were just completely disorganized. Yeah, I don't really think I would have taken this just because, again, all-time highs. Kind of just want to be looking for longs, but for the most part, there is a decent enough setup here to be taking shorts if you're that much of a daredevil, and kind of playing that retracement into that 15-minute unmitigated 15-minute for value gap. Again, not something I would have taken just because of the current market conditions. I do like taking 15-minute for rally gaps are unfilled though, for the most part. But I don't think this is something I would have taken. Again, kind of want to just be looking for longs if we're just so high up already. Um, there's one more trade I see kind of just from a glance, and it would be this one. So we retrace pretty much back into this range, just, kind of just grabbing equilibrium of this in range, of this 5-minute range or 15-minute, whatever. Pretty much come back into equilibrium, tap a discounted PD array. And looking at this, I think this is a good trade as well. Really depends on how you want to handle this. Let me go ahead and see how this looks on the 1 minute. Yeah, it kind of really depends on how you would have handled this. This is pretty much later in the day, right around, yeah, so New York lunchtime. So kind of a good time for a potential reversal. As you can see, we kind of just have this BPR here. So this balanced price range lining up with this other bullish 5-minute for value gap that gets respected. Going into the lower time frame, let's see if we could potentially find an entry here. Yeah. Yeah, so I think would have been an all right trade as well. Just to continue that. Really depends on how you want to handle it. Probably could have done like a change in the state kind of scenario here and then gone to the lower time frame. Um, as you can see, you pretty much inverse this 1 minute for value gap here. So I think this is a decent trade as well. Now, something I would have liked to have targeted here maybe would have been this 30-minute for value gap here for TP. Let me go ahead with the hourly looking like. Yeah, this 15-minute looks pretty bad. We have a 15-minute. How far is this 15-minute from where we entered? So yeah, that's probably why it was a bit choppy. Yeah, that's probably why it was a bit choppy. Just because of these 15-minute for value gaps and 5-minute for value gaps and 30-minute for value gaps that we have to the left side. So kind of was just kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I'm saying? I do see it playing it out. I do see it ends up playing out, right? Ends up playing out depending on what your target was. But for the most part, this definitely could have been a decent scout, to be honest, just to these levels, as you can see. Probably could have gone for a 1-to-1 here, maybe. Really depending. But yeah, but also could have held this just for a little bit extra. But yeah, that's pretty much, see, this is me marking up the charts. This is me marking up the charts. This is me getting my screen time in. This is me seeing, if I would have taken this, like why wouldn't I have taken this? Does this make sense? Do I like this, etc., etc.? You get what I'm saying? And that's just how you build yourself as a trader. That's kind of just how you mature as a trader. And you kind of start to distinguish what you like and what you don't like, and what you want to see and what you don't want to see within variations of your model, right? I'm telling you, man, everyone should start doing this. Very beneficial, and it doesn't take much time. Uh, like the more and more you do it, kind of the faster you do it, I think I've taken like an hour max, just because on sometimes I'm just like, damn, would I have taken this? And I would this is also the hard part about trading that I wanted to bring up, is that when us as traders, or just us as humans, we are win or lose, right? Either we win or either we lose. Now, with kind of that being said, when we're trading and we take a loss and we're trying to justify why it lost or what we did wrong, etc., etc. You probably did everything correctly, and it was just the market doing market things. A lot of us need to come to the realization that there's only just so much we can control, right? That being our patience, that being our discipline, that being um, our conviction in like our models, etc., etc. But sometimes the market is going to be doing things randomly, and it might, you might just get cooked on a trade, and you're trying to justify what you did wrong, and you're getting frustrated with yourself. You're not really understanding. Oh, yeah, look at this, by the way, too. Yeah, this 5 minute sweep here, I just realized this is butter. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, this is butter. You see how identical stuff looks here? Sweep for value gap, ba 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 ba. Sweep SMT here for value gap right here, ba 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 ba. The same thing with this trade that I took earlier. It was just like a sweep for value gap, inverse for value gap, change in the state, blah, 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? Different variations. Sorry, I'm getting off track. But yeah, so like you take a loss and you're trying to justify why you lost, and you start getting frustrated with yourself, and you just don't know. I've been there. We all have been there. Some people are probably going through it. You just have to remember that there's a chance that you probably did everything you did correctly, and it's just the market just didn't want to give it to you. And you're over here stressing yourself out for no reason, right? Again, trading is much better when made simple, when less is more in trading. Less is more. The more and more you try to make this work, and to a point where you're just forcing it, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. I promise you, it's probably going to affect you in a more negative way than it would in a positive way. Um, we just have to make sure we're doing the right things. We're holding ourselves accountable. We're taking trades that look good. We're sizing accordingly, and we're taking this serious, right? Because NQ is a demon. NQ, or just trading in general, is just an absolute monster. We have to make sure that we're well prepared mentally in order to tackle this, right? Um, this has definitely ruined people. Again, trading has definitely ruined people. It has made people in credit card debt because they keep buying accounts, etc. And they're just trying so hard to make it work. They're just trying a little bit too hard to the point where they're forcing it, and that's just not going to happen. And those habits are hard to break from the beginning. Those habits are really tough to break, uh, because you're just so accustomed doing it, and you're just so accustomed to wanting it fast and wanting it tomorrow. You want a payout tomorrow. You want to be profitable by the end of the week. That's just not gonna happen, bro. I'm telling you, us as humans, we want everything fast. We see how, like, look from the press of a button. I could press buy right now, and I could probably make $1,000 if I go in with like two minis. I could probably make $1,000 within a minute. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just looks so simple and so fast that you could potentially make money. But that's just like the bait. That's literally the bait. Yeah, man. So quick little ramble sesh about trading, about frameworking, about taking it slow, etc., etc. Yeah, key thing to take away is just do your markups, do your frameworking, see different variations. The next trading day you go into it, your goal is to not have any homework. Your goal is to already have your markup already drawn so you don't have to revisit. That's how you know it's a good trade. I'll see you on the next one. Peace, peace.